Howdy folks, this is Checkers, and this is another bedtime walk in Fallout 4. If it looks a little different, this is bedtime in the daytime. And we're going to talk about something a little bit different too. Usually, we just talk about our surroundings, but today I thought we might talk about something a little more important. In my life, in my past, I built a foundation of self-worth, and that foundation was built upon what I did. It was built on the definitions of external things. I was a stagehand. I was a lighting designer. Before that, I was a student. Before that, I was someone's family. Occasionally, I would even identify myself as a citizen of a place. When my body failed, when my body changed, I lost most of these things. I was not in a city that I was familiar with, so its citizenship meant nothing. I was not with family, and I was no longer a student, a stagehand, or a lighting designer. All of the points of reference by which I defined myself were gone. I was left with only myself. This is a frightening place to be. When you break down, when you will be out of work for an extended period of time, everyone seems to believe that this will be an extended vacation. You are so lucky. For 3 days, I was able to relax, to focus on the idea of healing back when I thought that was possible. After that 3 days, well, by the 4th day, I was edgy. And by the 7th day, I was nearing a state of panic. I wasn't concerned that I wasn't bringing in income temporarily. I was cared for by the place that I had been. It was a deeper problem. I felt unproductive. I felt as if my definition was being challenged because I wasn't being a stagehand. I wasn't being a lighting designer. And if I wasn't one of those, then what was I? And that became the true question. That became the true problem. Because without these definitions, without being a stagehand, without being a lighting designer or a citizen, or defined by someone else, I was alone. And being alone, I entered a very, very dark place. I had to justify to myself my own being. I had to justify the air that I breathed. I had to justify the fact that I took resources from others. And how could I do that having no value? No value that I had built my foundation upon. There was only conflict inside me, only pain, only loss, and only fear. But you cannot continue that way. You can't keep fighting and losing. And so I had to find another definition. I had to find another reason, another way to see myself. And the first thing that I perceived was that defining myself by other points of reference external to myself, always meant that these points of reference could change, and whenever those points of reference changed, I would be back in this dark place. So my point of reference for self-worth had to come from within. It had to be permanent, unchanging, eternal. I was reminded of the phrase, "God don't make junk." And I thought about what it meant to be. That I had an intrinsic value, that I am, that I exist. When looked upon without the external references, without the points of reference from another's eyes or another's definition, just by the mere fact of being, I had value. I think, therefore I am, became clear. Without the distraction of work, of family and friends, I understood that I, myself alone, not alone in the world, but alone from external references, I had worth. I had value. I deserved my life. And my life, in turn, deserved me. This is the foundation upon which I would rebuild myself. This was the new base of my life. And I began to explore this new foundation. And I found that because I existed, by the very presence of my life, I had actually changed the world. I had caused an impact. Small though it may be, I had affected the lives of others. If I had affected the lives of others, then I must truly exist. And in existing, again, I found that I had truly worth. This worth cannot be challenged. It cannot be taken away from me. It cannot be diminished. It can only be added to. This foundation will not crumble. This foundation will not fall. And it must follow as the day the night, that if I have this intrinsic worth, this intrinsic value of life, then every soul who has life has this intrinsic value. whether or not they understand the definition, whether or not they still define their lives by what they do or who they are related to or who they fall in love with. Every soul has this intrinsic value. When you understand your intrinsic value, when you understand that no matter who you are, no matter what you think of yourself, no matter what anyone else thinks of you, you have value. You belong in life, and life is better for you. You can begin to understand your own self-worth. This is not narcissism. This is not, as we are often told, self-love. This is understanding truth. The truth that we do have value. Each and every soul, each and every spark of life. This is the truth of self-worth. This is the truth of who we are. That I can make this video, that you can hear it, that you can see it. This means that we exist. Stars spun through the void of space, collided with each other, created particles. Particles flew throughout the heavens to form the building blocks of who we are. The world was spun from nothing, and on this nothing, spun into something, we stand. For my life, the greatest war the world had ever seen had to take place. It had to displace two people so that they would meet. And from them, I would be born. So many cosmic things, so many cataclysmic functions, and yet here I stand, here I breathe, and here I am. And no less amazing are the stories of every single life. This is the truth of self-worth. This is the truth of who we are. In the words of Carl Sagan, we are star stuff. In the intrinsic truth of value, we are life. We are alive. We think, therefore we are. And this, above all other things, beyond what we do, beyond who we know or where we are from, beyond who we love, that we are, is our inherent and unutterable value. We are the treasure of the universe. We are life. Remember your value always. Understand how valuable you really are. And thank you. Thank you for sharing that treasure with me along this walk. Rest well, my friends, and dream the sweetest of dreams.